Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson, co-owner and founder of Elite Online Publishing, along with my business partner, Jenn Foster today. Hey, Jenn.
Hey everyone, how's your day going today? Hope it's as great as ours.
Yeah, now we're having an unusual conversation today. We're talking boxes. You're like, what? Yeah, we're going to talk boxes and how boxes can help your business and grow your business. So I don't know about you, but I've had the box experience where a company, I got one, I think from Tony Robbins, and someone else, one of our clients did one for their book when they launched it, like these beautiful cardboard boxes that come that are all branded. And you feel so special when you get it. You open it up, you're like, oh, what's inside of this? Or you may have a subscription service that sends you these boxes. So you might wonder, well, where do they come from? How do they make them? What's the strategy behind them? Well, guess what? We are diving deep into that today. We have Mark Stern with us, who owns the Custom Box Agency. Welcome, Mark. Thanks for joining us today.
So good to be here, Melanie. So thank you. Excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I actually remember Melanie got a big, huge box from Mario Ficini that had his book in it and a bunch of goodies. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this. Tell us, Mark, a little bit about your background and how you got into this business.
Yeah, so it's funny. This was an accidental business. This was never meant to be the business. And I was like a corporate American junkie for years. And finally, I got bit, I think it was like early 2010s, the entrepreneurial bug, discovered this whole digital online world, which kind of blew my mind at the time. But it took me until 2018 to leave corporate America and go all in on starting a business. And what we did was virtual events. So this was pre-COVID. How do you create a virtual event and a virtual presence? And for me, I have attended so many virtual events. They're so overwhelming when it's just a digital only experience. And I just kept on saying, I just wish someone would send me something so I can have something tangible to complement that experience. So we started doing that with the virtual events that we created. And what ended up happening was people started unboxing the boxes prior to the events. You saw all this organic traffic. It was a way that for the different speakers, we can edify the speakers and up level them as well. So all these incredible things started happening as a result of just introducing something physical to a digital experience. And as time went on, people just kept on saying, because I'd be like, look at these virtual events we're doing. And people would be like, but the box, tell me more about the box and how you did the box. And it just spiraled from there. We launched a challenge to teach people how to do what we did. What we didn't expect when we launched the challenge was that people would love the challenge and then want us to do it for them. So when COVID hit, we killed the virtual event business at a time that you would think that's the time to go all in on virtual events. And there was just, my gut was like, there's this huge opportunity that people are not tapping into, because I think a lot of people, when they think about boxes, think swag boxes. And we joke and say that swag means stuff without a goal. And to really create an experience and the intentionality behind it, this is like where we're like, oh, this is such a cool opportunity to bring to life, especially if you have a virtual or a local presence. How can we now tie something physical to up level that experience?
I like that. Swag means stuff
Stuff
without a
without
goal. I have so many logo things that I end up throwing in the garbage because it's like,
yeah.
I'm not going to use this little tiny stress ball that's this big that has a logo on it. Like, I'm not going to use that. Like, there's so many weird things with logos on it. You're like, no, they didn't think about this.
Yeah, what is your
Yeah.
take on that? Like, we were with one group, they sent us a box and they made a point to say, we didn't send you a bunch of branded stuff. Like, we sent you our favorite stuff. So like, it might've been a mug that didn't say their business name or anything on it. It just said like, drink wine or something, you know what I mean? So what is your take on branded versus not branded when you're sending a box
Yeah, and there's so many
for a
different
virtual event?
classes, because you can say that like there are people who can do swag boxes, then there's like the giftology model, which is like one-to-one personal gifting. Like our whole philosophy is that I see a lot of people go to foreign print or discount mugs or take some big promotional vendor site online and they just assemble a bunch of what they think are cute things. And typically swag is where I see boxes get really, really expensive. But my take on branded versus unbranded, at the end of the day, what I care about is a connection point. So if you are choosing to put a water bottle in your box, don't just find a cute water bottle that you found online. Like what I want is, if you are an influencer, you are the attractive character for your business. Like if you're going to put a water bottle in there, I want it to be your water bottle. Because if you told me like you were a coach who trained entrepreneurs and you said, When I get stressed out, here's what I do. I fill up my bottle of water with water. Then I go for a walk for 15 minutes and just sip on the water to recenter myself. If you give them your water bottle, not only is it a connection point, but you also gave them the ritual to have that experience. So when they get stressed out, they could be like, what does my mentor do? And emulate that. So that's kind of where I like it as a connection point and a story piece. We anchor on some of the like tools and resources that people need to be set up for success and really defining a very clear customer journey. But all these are supplemental pieces that need to better give you the things that you need to be, have the tools you need. The analogy I use is a Monopoly board. Like a board game is a brilliant example of an experience in a box because everything you need to play the board game is inside the box. And what we see that a lot of business owners do is it's like taking off the lid of the Monopoly box and seeing a sign that says, thank you for buying Monopoly. Go to this website to print out the money and the tokens and the mortgage cards and the hotels and the game board. And you're making people run through these hoops versus just giving them what they need to get started right away.
Oh, I like that because a lot of times you do feel that way when you get some of those boxes or when you're on an online event. They're like, okay, download this, download that. When if they would have sent a box or sent something, then it would have been a lot easier. Well, walk us through what companies or what is the best way to use your boxes. Is it more swag or is it more, stuff that goes with the event? Like, how do you use it?
It's
for
great.
an author too. We have authors, so I'd love you to talk. Like if you're an
totally,
author,
we can talk, and I actually have some examples right here. And so one of the things you'll notice is like we talk a lot about with clients about the intentionality behind the things that we save in our lives. And an example is, what is it about a book that when people finish reading a book, typically they don't throw it out, they put it on a bookshelf. So books are that size, like the smaller size of a book, the fact that you can reread it and reference it again, the coaching around a book to say, have you ever watched a movie or read a book that if you read it at one point in your life, you had one interpretation, but if you read it later on, it takes on a whole new meaning. So that repeatability is all our factors that we start to think about. So you'll see that a lot of our boxes are the size of a book. They're a little bit bigger than a book. We brand the spine just like you do a book, because if I know that you read books and put books on a bookshelf, why don't we simulate that with boxes? I know with board games or things with replayability, like my father still has his 8-tracks and his vinyl records. We have DVDs and VHSs, even though we have no means to play the DVDs and VHSs. I still have the CD collection from when I was in high school. And what is it about these that make us hold on to them and keep them? Because when we build these experiences, I want you to save it. I want you to be able to reference it. I want you to have that element of it. So a lot of the strategy we think about with the box experience, and I'll talk specifically about a book box experience too, is we love the smaller size because it's like a book to go on a bookshelf. Things that I want to see inside the box. Welcome note is standard. The reason that I say a welcome note is important is sometimes, we've tested this too many times. And if you don't frame the experience that you're sending, some people are like, why did I get this? And it kind of also is an opportunity to reinforce buyer decision. The second piece that we like is what we call a guide, how to get started navigating our program or our product or service, because there's so many different use cases. The third piece is what we call a journey map. How do I give you a step-by-step of the steps that you need to take going through this experience? So think about it as almost the game board of a board game, if you've ever played the game of life or Monopoly. And then finally, all the tools and resources that you need. So to use an example that we're about to launch, this is about to hit the market, ideas that influence, this box right here is a book box experience. So this is a box that we built that goes along with the book. If you talk about the book journey, an easy journey to do for a book is, I want you to watch these videos and connect with the reader or the author before even reading. And I don't know if anyone's ever read a book and then you've said, I'm resonating with this person, let me go look them up on YouTube. So what's great about this is if you see the journey map, which is just a one-pager, the first thing that says start here, it brings the author to life before you delve into the book. And then it's broken down into 3 parts, because a lot of books typically have multiple part 1, part 2, part 3. That is a cluster of chapters that have different themes. Well, all we did was there's an envelope for every single part. So as they navigate through the experience, all the tools and resources that come to life from reading the book, there's a little challenge that the pieces are inside the box to make it actionable so they can have those quick wins while reading the book. And then when they get to the last step, for a lot of authors, especially in the online space, typically a book is just an entry point to like their products or services or a broader offering that they may have. Not always the case, but this is very common, especially for business owners, that a book is used almost as a tool to educate and inform people like how they can take the next step. So that's exactly what we did at the end of this journey. There's an invitation to join. Ultimately, what this influencer is launching is a mastermind program where they can go deeper and work a little bit more intimately based on the concepts in the book. But inside this box, there's post-it notes, there's tools, there's resources, there's fold outs, they get bigger. It's designed to be a very clean experience, but the envelopes just give you what you need when you get to that junction in the process.
It's kind of gamified.
You got it. It is totally gamified.
Like they're walking through a game. All right. So whenever I tell Jen, like I'm the big guy, I'm always like idea popping. And she's like, hold on, how are we going to do that? And she has like 10 questions. So like if I said, Jen, we're going to do a box for our new book that just came out, Strategic Writing System. Let's do a box for that. And we should have like, we're always holding this drink cup with all the sparkles on it. Let's do that.
Look at all the sparkles.
Yeah,
oh my
that's like
gosh.
our signature swag, mine has my name on it, but it's like, hey, we could do one of these for them and then stick, a pen that says our name on it or do all this stuff. She's like, where are we going to get all that other stuff? Does the box company supply it? Do we have to buy it? And then do we have to ship it to us and ship it to them? Can we ship it directly to them? Like I could just hear the whole sea of questions she's going to ask me about that. So kind of walk us through. All right, I want to do a box, Mark. I want to put like 4, 5 things in it, physical things in it. Where do they come from? Who puts them out? How do I get you my mailing list? All of that stuff.
Yeah, it's a great question. So our goal with any client that we work with is we want to plug into your business and make this as easy as possible. So we work with clients end to end. We have 3 core phases that we take you through. First phase is what we call activate. This is all about like the strategy and advisory. Let's go deep into it because any experience we do, if you have a course, if you have a book, if you have assets that we can delve into, we're going to go through all of it because when we do a strategy session and then ultimately we do a workshop with clients, like I don't want to spend that time learning about your business. I want to spend the time hitting the ground running. So once we've defined the strategy, phase 2 is what we call build. We have a huge design team that can design anything. That's part of our bread and butter, but it's not designing to be pretty. It's designing to be functional and to up-level the experience. And then the third phase is what we call deliver. And then that is where we can do it all. Like for clients, we don't want you to have to worry about sourcing or where to get certain assets. We've even gotten your Sparkle tumbler that you have. We've done something similar with other clients in the past because we've had clients that love the sparkles and they want to bring that in, but sparkles work when you can tie it back to your own brand identity. And it's just a little piece of you going back to them. So all of the sourcing, we're set up as a distributor. And this is kind of what we tell clients is that I don't want you to have to worry about figuring out this because we're a distributor. We can get better pricing than you. We like to control the process because it just allows us to provide a more seamless experience for you. So I know we can get better pricing. So just let us do it for you. Is what we ultimately try. And then we have our warehouse in Austin, Texas, where we'll collect everything, pack it up. In terms of your question around distribution, how do we get it into the hands of our people? There's manual ways to do it. There's automated ways. We can set up a trigger at point of sale that it automatically triggers, notifies the warehouse and ships it out. But we try and make this whole process as simple as possible because if we only got you up to here's the design assets, go, like that's a huge, like for a lot of people, they would not even know what to do with it. So we just don't want you to worry about it, but this is why we built the systems we built, is that we just want to seamlessly plug into your business. And even with your inventory on site, we have our own portal that you get access to, because I want you to feel like you have control at any point in time of all your inventory levels, shipping information, one spot. So we really try and make it as seamless as possible for our clients.
So if we had a list of, say we're having an online event and had 50 attendees, then we could get those shipped to them before the event. But then you're also saying we could also do like a fulfillment where it's like we have something on our website where they can buy and as it's bought and then it's put together and shipped. Is that right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
All the above. So there's all different ways. You can do one-offs. So part of it is we have clients that like some of their programs, they sell them ongoing throughout the year. They don't have a big launch. We have other clients. And so this is an example of a coaching program. And like, these are 2 different coaching programs. This is for dentists. This is someone in the health and fitness space. They sell those all the time. So as orders get processed, once it gets uploaded in the system, if they come in before 10 a.m., they usually go out the same day. If not, they go out the next business day. And then
I love
It is.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
And the thing is, we love to like have it ready to go at the warehouse. So if you
Mhm.
want to send the one-offs, you can send those one-offs. But if you're doing a big launch, and some people have a coaching program that may have 100, 500, 1,000 members, and decisions are not made based on point of sale you bought on my website. It could be, and this is another thing that we do in terms of things that we save. If you're collecting something, chances are, if you're collecting the inherent nature of collecting something, you're saving it because you're collecting the pieces. We have clients that may say, this is box 1 of 4. And when box 2 of 4 happens, it's not going to distribute based on potentially a point of sale. It may be based on the fact that you're in month 4 of this membership and we're triggering it. So there's manual ways to set that up as well. There's all different ways to handle the distribution.
And then how would you handle, like, let's say, a book, right? So do we have to supply the books for you and we're buying the inventory and it's sitting there until it's triggered? Or do we give you access to our author price copies that you get into our KDP account and order the ones that you need? How does that?
There's all different ways to do it. But one of the things that I tell clients that have books is a lot of our clients have books that they want to put in the box. Sometimes you can get your own book at a better discounted rate than I would. And even if I went to a bulk book shop, it's still not the same. In that model, I would just say print a batch up. Typically, when a client works with us, our question up front is the game of building these experiences. The more you get, the less it is per unit. The less you get, the more it is per unit. And I always tell clients, I would rather you go conservative and let us monitor numbers and then reorder than going and saying, oh gosh, look at the price point for 1,000 or 5,000 units. I'd rather you spend more for less and have those ready to go and monitor inventory levels at a certain threshold. So in that model, like what we typically like to do is if you're saying upfront, let's commit to 500 boxes, we're going to pre-assemble all 500. They're going to be ready to go. The reason we do that is that we want those boxes to be able to ship right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that model, we would have 500 boxes at our warehouse ready to trigger. And we have no timeline in terms of how those trigger, as long as you're active with us. If it takes a year to liquidate it all, if it takes a month, it doesn't matter.
And then walk us through price points so people get an idea, like, because sometimes, and I would say, for like a small business, because a lot of our people that listen to this are small business owners, of what price product constitutes a box, right? The ROI, we get that all the time. What's the ROI on just becoming an author and having a book? So what's my ROI on the book? Do I have to sell a $500 product to constitute sending a book? Do I have to just sell 100? Does it have to be $10,000? Like what kind of, walk us through those numbers.
There's all different strategies. So when we work with clients, there's 3 types of campaigns that we offer, and it's all hinged on your customer life cycle. So the first type of campaign is an acquisition campaign. So just imagine in terms of someone discovering you up to point of sale, that's phase 1. The second type of campaign is a delivery campaign. You bought my products or services, part of delivering my products or services. You bought a ticket to my virtual event, you bought my course, you bought my coaching program. This is part of that. You hired my agency. That box is all about like giving them an onboarding experience, setting up the journey, and then providing the tools and resources for that first breakthrough. Or is it a retention play? Retention's about extending lifetime value, typically recognition. So when you talk about gamification, if you hit this milestone, if you sell X number of books, we want to send you an award. We want to recognize you in some capacity. Those types of campaigns fit into the retention points. So there's 3 different strategies. And based on there's different KPIs that we recommend that clients leverage. So with that, sometimes a box may not be the solution that you choose. Sometimes it, on the acquisition front, could be a mailer. These are a lot more cost effective and you can still build an experience out of these. But what we typically see is that this is kind of where it's strategy. We've had people who've done a full build out for a $47 or $97 product. And even though it's more around self-liquidating the cost of the box, my happy zone with the hard cost of goods is between $15 and $25 for a box, between $2 and $6 for a mailer. So we've had some people say, I want to wow you on the acquisition side. When you like first start to engage with us and sell a very low ticket product, they may be self-liquidating part of that investment, but part of what they're doing is they want to set the tone for seeding the entire journey for that bigger ticket sale. It's not about the lower sale. It's about the higher ticket offer that you may be featuring on the back end. We have a lot of people in that delivery phase that do box or multiple boxes. And we've seen, again, $97, $997, $10,000, $15,000, $50,000, $100,000 programs. But again, I like to see those boxes be $15 to $25. And the reason I like a lower price threshold is that a campaign's not just about, for us, receiving a box when you join, you may then say, when you, like 3 weeks in, if you took a certain action, I'm going to trigger the t-shirt or the water bottle or something else that may be more swag oriented, but it's designed as a recognition piece to celebrate people taking action. So that's kind of why I like to see those. And then on the back end for retention, again, it just depends on what you're doing. During the holiday time, it could be just like a gift, a reminder. It could be a flat mailer to see the next step. It could be a recognition certificate or a plaque or award. If you've seen like the 2 Comma Club awards that ClickFunnels does, we work with the same companies. We work with a lot of the same suppliers, and we produced a lot of those types of awards for our clients because recognition is a powerful mark to incentivize people to continue to take action along the way. So this is kind of where there's different strategies based on what you're doing. In terms of ROI, the biggest factor about ROI that I tell everyone, people ask us this all the time. The first thing I would challenge you to do is make sure you know your numbers, because a lot of people ask about ROI that don't know their numbers. And so if you don't know your numbers in the question around ROI, there's not an answer I can give you because you don't have that baseline. Make sure you have that baseline, make sure you know what those numbers should be across the process. But typically what we see is we've had clients that have doubled sales on the front end, doubled their conversion rates on the back end. We see higher completion rates. We had a client that just did a massive launch, sold 3,300 units of a $2,000 program. And her attrition rate in the refund period, like the first 30 days, was like 19. And part of it that I know that is because one of the things that we did is you're welcome to get a refund in the first 30 days. Just send us back your box and we can measure those numbers and see those numbers. So for 33 sales of a $2,000 product, when you have 19 people, this is what we like to see, is that a lot of times at the beginning of a process where you see those attrition rates increases, overwhelm. You've not established a good onboarding process. You've not set up people with the tools and resources that they need. They instantly feel overwhelmed, or they feel like a failure. No one wants to feel like a failure. And if in that first 30-day window, you don't feel set up for success, the easiest thing to do is to request a refund. And so this is just, there's so many different factors that can get into there that, like, we've seen it. And for us, like, there are campaigns that we have launched that the investment for the entire campaign, we recouped within one sale, especially if you have a 5 or 10K offer. But again, there's just different strategies, whether or not this is an acquisition play, a delivery play, or a retention play.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the different ways you can use it. I mean, so many different ideas are going through my mind with like memberships, or I was even thinking that there's some authors who had gone the traditional route and they have all these books in their garage. It's like, oh, well, let's get a program together.
Yeah.
Let's get an online course going and send everyone a book and include other things in the box. I love that.
Yeah, we hope, like, what we're trying to create is like a new opportunity for you and stand out differently. So yeah,
it's always, you're always looking for creative ways as a business owner to stand out, get new clients, serve the clients that you have. Great content. I learned a lot. I got some notes here. Mark, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Tell us where we can.
Yeah. So the easiest way to find us is just to go to our website at customboxagency.com. There's just lots of information. You can see examples of our work, and there's a way that you can sign up for a free consultation with our team to see whether or not we're a good fit for you.
Awesome. We'll put that link up in the show notes so people can click on that and follow you on. I'm sure you're on LinkedIn and all the socials as well.
All the socials. Yeah.
Terrific.
Well, thank you.
What a great podcast. So everyone, if you're thinking about writing a book, remember to reach out at us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. Hit that author submission form. We guarantee you'll be a bestseller if you're selected to work with us. Have a great week, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.